Hi everybody, my name is Ashley Rhianne and I'm happy to be bringing you today my 20-minute Pilates burn. So we're going to start by just lying on our backs, having our feet about sit bone distance apart, and let's just roll all the way down. We're just going to really settle and feel the tailbone on the ground. We're going to pop our hands on our hips and we're just going to start by some nice breathing. On the inhale, I want you to draw the pubic bone towards your feet, having a slight little arch on the back, and on the exhale, let's lengthen that tailbone to slightly press the lower back into the floor. We're going to do this a few times, just really focusing on that beautiful rocking pelvis. Just really trying to seek length always through the spine, feeling the vertebrae stretch, and on the exhale coming into that really nice little slight press. We're going to go into some upper body work, so let's just mobilize our scapula. On the inhale, I want you to try to touch the ceiling with those fingertips, rounding the scapula around the sides of your torso. On the exhale, just let everything settle back into neutral, feeling your arm bones really sitting in the shoulder socket. We're going to do this a few times, so inhale, trying to touch the ceiling, and on the exhale, let those arm bones just pop its weight right back into the shoulder. Beautiful. And we're going to go into some retraction after this, so we're going to really start to focus by drawing the shoulder blades down the back to open the front chest, and on the exhale just coming back up to neutral. Inhale, slide the shoulder blades down, keep those ribs knitted together. On the exhale, coming back into neutral. Let's do a combination here. So we're going to inhale, try to touch the ceiling with the fingers. On the exhale, slide the scapula down the back. Inhale, rounding through the torso. Exhale, opening through the front body. Beautiful. A few more times. Inhale to reaching up, and exhale, sliding that scapula down. Beautiful job. And we're just going to come with our hands just down by our sides. We're going to really knit those ribs together. Nice long neck. We're going to come into a gentle imprint if you like, or if you can work in neutral, it's your choice. You can stay there. We're going to do some toe taps. So we're going to inhale, we're going to float that right knee up, and on the exhale, we're just going to bring the right leg down. So we're opening from the hip. The knee stays the same the whole time. So we want to focus on the lower abdominal to help lift that leg, and as we lower, we're controlling it all the way down. Remember to breathe. And we're going to switch to the left. So inhale, we're going to float that left knee up, and exhale, let's touch that toe, making sure that our pelvis is nice and stable. I like to pop my hands on my pelvis just to make sure that it's not moving and that my abdominals are always controlled. Beautiful. Let's do a few more times here, keeping that neck nice and long, and we're going to relax the feet. Check in with those ribs. We're going to work with both legs now. So on your next exhale, we're going to float that right leg into tabletop, and then we're going to float the left leg in tabletop. So we're going to keep just trying to touch the toe to the floor, working from that hip joint. So don't bend the knees, really using the abdominals to help pull that leg back into that tabletop. We're going to do this a few times. So again, just really focusing on that nice opening sensation through the hip and that nice deep abdominal contraction coming up. We're going to start to flex our feet. So make sure that you spread those toes nice and wide like you're standing on the ground, and we're going to keep that angle the same and just touch the heels down one at a time. This one's a little bit more intense, so if you have to decrease the range, please just work with whatever is safe for you. We're going to come into a little bit of an ab curl, so let's interlace our fingers, place our heavy head in our hands. We're going to open our elbows to 45 degrees. We're going to extend from the ankle, and we're going to come into our ab curl, so really focusing on drawing those ribs towards the hips. We're going to just lower our toes down one at a time, again focusing on that stability, really focusing on drawing those ribs together, those ribs towards the hips, looking over the knees as we tap one toe down at a time, and then the opposite toe, just making sure we're using our breath with the movement. We're going to flex our feet and just go into our flex foot position, trying to touch those heels one at a time on the floor. Again, just really focusing on that nice deep abdominal contraction. If this is too much to have your head in your hands, please feel free to just keep your upper body lying on the floor. And we're just going to relax. Let's draw our knees into chest. Let's just rock side to side. Let's release the lower back. We're going to come back into our position, so let's interlace those fingers, place our heavy head in our hands, legs back into tabletop, And we're just going to leave our upper body down for these exercises. So we're working right from the hips. We want to squeeze both legs together, and we're going to lower both legs to touch the floor. And on the exhale, drawing the abdominals to help lift the legs back into tabletop. This is a lot more intense, so again, just work on the range that you're comfortable with. We're going to flex the feet, and we're going to tap those heels down. So keeping those inner thighs zipped together and tapping down again. Really trying to extend from the top vertebra, keeping those ribs together, those back ribs laying on the mat. Beautiful. Let's point the toes again. And we're going to come into our ab curl position. So we're going to keep those ribs coming towards those hips as we tap those toes down. And again. See if you can get a little higher. Keep those ribs zipped together. Beautiful. Let's flex the feet, and we're going to tap the heels down. And up, making sure we're moving with that breath. Beautiful. One last time for the toes. And now the heels. So we're doing a nice little combination here. Extending from the ankle and then flexing the feet. So you want to have a strong flex. It's almost like you're standing on the ground. So really think about those pinky toes coming towards those nose. Beautiful. Let's bring the knees into chest. Let's rock side to side to get that really nice stretch through the back. And let's open our arms nice and wide to the side. We're going to extend back into a tabletop position. We're going to keep those inner thighs zipped together, and we're just going to lean our legs over towards the right. Try to keep your knees nice and stacked. We're using the abdominals here, so a little bit of oblique work. We're using the abdominals. Pull up through those abdominals through center. Now we're going to drop down towards the left. Try to keep the opposite shoulder on the ground. So don't let your torso lift up from the ground. Keep a strong contraction, lots of pressure in the hands as we rotate back towards the right. Making sure that your ankles are nice and extended. You don't necessarily need to point the toes, but just think about that nice length through the ankles. Beautiful. Drawing back through center, using those abdominals. And we're coming back over to the right and through center and over to the left. Back through center. We're going to interlace our fingers, come back into that position, heavy head, really extending from the top vertebra. And now we're just going to lengthen the legs slightly away from us. We want to decrease the angle between our body and our hips. So we're going to just exhale to slightly extend those legs on the inhale, scooping through the lower belly to draw your legs back into tabletop. Again, we're looking right over our knees. Our ankles are nice and long. So lots of lower body work here. And when you're ready, you can come into your ab prep here. Draw those ribs together, ribs towards your hips. Keep extending from the knees. Inhale to use your lower belly to scoop to draw those legs back into tabletop. We're going to leave our toes touching, and we're just going to open our knees to the side to make a diamond. So we're focusing on opening right from the abductors of the hips, and then we're squeezing the inner thighs in together to activate the adductors of those inner thigh muscles, keeping that ab prep position, nice long neck, good. Let's just come back into a nice relaxed position. Let's just rock our head side to side to get rid of any tension. We've been holding this ab prep for a little bit, so sometimes it can get into the neck. We're going to come back into our tabletop position. Let's interlace those fingers. Let's just check in with those back ribs. Shoulder blades are down. Take a nice full deep breath in. On the exhale, we're going to come back into that ab prep position, and we're going to extend those knees slightly. We're just going to open and close our legs now. So the legs are moving apart, and then they're squeezing towards the midline. So again, focusing on those abductors and those adductors through these exercises. And little pulses out and in, about 1 inch. Keep going. Working that adductor, beautiful. And let's just come right back in. Knees into chest, rocking side to side, releasing through that lower back. Beautiful. And let's bring one foot down and then the other. We're going to go into a little bit of bridge work here. So let's make sure our feet are about sit bone distance apart. Let's press our hands into the floor to activate the chest. We're going to spread those toes nice and wide, and we're going to do a nice articulated shoulder bridge. So really focusing on peeling each vertebra off of the mat at a time, opening from the hips the whole time, and then we're going to soften the sternum, rolling through mid-back, lower back, that long imprinted spine back into neutral. Inhale, we're going to draw the sit bones towards the heels as we slowly roll each vertebra off of the floor at a time, opening through the hips, squeeze those glutes. And on the exhale, softening first from the sternum, rolling each vertebra one at a time down onto the mat. Beautiful. Powering up through the feet and pressing all the way up. We're going to hold it here. Take a nice full deep breath in, making sure you're breathing into a back body, side body, and laying our body down. Coming back to check on our hips. Beautiful job. And we're just going to press up this time. So we're moving everything in a neutral spine position. So we're just pressing up and down. So trying to keep those feet nice and strong on the floor, and these nice full range lifts. You can really pay attention to how the weight is shifting on those feet. So squeezing the glutes, pressing those hips up and down, little pulses here. So half range, pressing up, making sure those ribs are tucked together, really getting a strong sensation in those glutes, in those legs, feeling the hamstrings working a lot here. I know it's a lot of work. Keep pressing through the hands and coming all the way down, neutral spine. And we're going to just bring our left foot towards midline, right leg into tabletop. Powering up through that left foot, we're going to come all the way up into a one-legged bridge and coming down to hover. Pressing up, inhale to hover, pressing up and down. So we're just coming to hover about half an inch above the floor. So lots of work in that left glute, that left foot, that left side. And we're going to extend that right leg, trying to touch the ceiling with that toe. Little pulses here and up and up. So working in that nice mid-range position. I know it burns. Just keep going. Bending that knee, we're going to put the foot down all the way from the toe all the way to the ball. Now we're going to switch legs, walk that right leg towards the midline. Just make sure everything's connected. Left leg floats into tabletop. And ready? We're going to start to go up and down. So we want to use our abdominals to help keep that left leg in tabletop. So that left leg is not on holiday. It's still equally working like the right. It's just working in a very stable position with the abdominals. Pressing all the way up. Coming down to hover, extend that left leg, and we're doing those little tiny pulses, so half range. Focusing again at the tops of those hamstrings, the bottom of the glutes, and up, and up. All right, let's bend the knee, let's place the foot back on the floor all the way. And let's again bring both knees into chest, slight little release of that lower back. Let's get back with both feet on the floor, our hands pressing into the floor, ribs are knitting together. We're going to do that nice extend again into that bridge, and we're just going to peel one heel off the ground at a time. So spread the toes, keep the ball of the foot connected to the floor, and really work on that nice little arch lift. And left foot's going to peel off the ground. This is a lot of hamstring work here. So if you're getting any hamstring cramping, you can just kind of alternate with the position of those feet. You can walk them a little bit closer towards the mat. And we're going to lift both heels up and down. Both heels up and down. Keep those ribs knitted together. If you want a bit more of a exercise here, you can always, for your balance, you can always bend the elbows, have your fingertips pointing up to the ceiling. Just a decrease, and we're going to go one at a time. So we're going to kind of do our prancing, but we're in that bridge position. We're going to keep both heels lifted, and we're going to do tiny little pulses here. So kind of going halfway down, all the way up, firing through the back body. Those glutes, those hamstrings are working. It burns, I know. Keep going, keep going. Keep those heels lifted, spreading those toes, and finally release. Drop the heels, drop the body, and let's bring our knees into chest. Let's just rock side to side. Beautiful. And we're going to come into a side lie position. So it's up to you if you want to have the bottom arm extended or if you want to just bend it so that you rest your head in your hands. Totally up to you. We really want to make sure that our side body is activated here. So try not to relax those bottom hips into the floor. And we're just going to have our knees and hips at 90 degrees. We're going to do our clamshell. So keep the feet pressing into each other, and we're just opening that top leg up to the ceiling and down. Working on that nice external rotation. Let's just lift those bottom legs up, and we're just going to open here in that diamond shape, but this time the knees are going to be touching the ground and the legs are hovering off the floor. A little bit more intense here. Let's drop the feet to the floor, and we're just going to work on some external rotation. So we want to work on lifting up in that 90 degrees, rotating outwards to touch the toes, and coming all the way down. So the knee's going to really try to lift up towards the ceiling while the toes come in to touch. And close. And again, rotate and close. We're going to come into internal rotation. So this time we want to try to drop the knee towards the bottom knee, which is going to lift that bottom leg towards the ceiling. So we want to really think about that, those leg bones twisting in that hip socket, then returning to neutral as we close the top leg on the bottom leg. Nice little burn here, and we're going to do a little combo. So external rotation, internal rotation, and close. Open up, external rotation, internal rotation, and close. And again. This one sneaks up on you, so if you need a little rest, please feel free. It's a real burner for those side glutes. And rub it out. We're going to do a little bit of a tricep push-up here. So we want to make sure that that top hand is about in line with that bottom shoulder, and we're going to really try to lift those ribs up towards the floor, pressing into that top hand and coming into a side press up. So I like to place my bottom hand on my ribs to just encourage that side body connection. Pressing up. You're going to really feel it in those triceps. Good work. And let's change sides. So we're going to rotate over to the opposite side, and we're going to repeat everything again. So again, it's your choice if you want to have your head in your hands or if you want to extend through that bottom arm, just lying your ear on top of that bicep, making sure the hips and knees are at 90 degrees. And here we go into our clamshell. Keeping those feet connected, we're opening from that top knee up towards the ceiling. Trying to activate that side body. So think about those bottom ribs, creating a little mouse hole between your body and the floor. Good. We're going to elevate those feet, working again from the knees. And we're going to relax the feet. Good. We're going to do that external rotation, lifting that leg up. We're going to rotate and close. So rotating up, opening the knee towards the ceiling and lowering down. So we're really trying to focus on that external rotation from the hip. We're going to try to touch the top toe to the bottom toe as we squeeze the inner thighs into close. Now we're going to reset. We're going to come into that internal rotation. So again, we're rotating that femur right in the hip socket, which is going to draw the top knee towards the bottom knee. Lifting up to neutral and closing down a few more times. Making sure we're breathing. We're going to do that combo. So we're going to do that external rotation, internal rotation to close. So coming up, external rotation, internal rotation, lifting it up and close, up and rotate. Trying to get that really nice full rotation in either direction. Lovely. And again, give those glutes a little bit of a rub. Good, we're gonna come into that side press up. So you might just need to play around with that hand position a little bit, making sure again that we're activating that side body. We're really firing up through that hand and we're pressing up. So we're trying to move the upper body in one long line. Keep the energy coming out of the top of the head as we press into that hand. This is a lot of work here. I always find at about the third or fourth time, my arm starts to really shake. Good job. And coming all the way down. Well done. Shake out that wrist if you have to. Good. And just find a nice comfortable position, feeling the sit bones on the floor, cross those legs. We're going to take a nice side bend. So we're going to place the left hand on the side. We're going to really try to reach through that top hand as we reach overhead, closing the ribs and extending the whole side body on the opposite side. Moving with the breath, bending the elbow, reaching that top hand. Really focusing on that rib to hip connection. And trying to keep both sit bones on the ground here. We're going to just do a nice little side rotation, looking over the shoulder, coming right through the center. Again, rotate. Just releasing from the back through the torso. Good. Moving right through center. Slight little press. Good work. And you're done. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again. I hope you got a good workout.